Bo Lockwood from newearthcivilization.com is here, and he is a visionary author and inspirational speaker, a conscious leadership guide, and he is devoted to it might be the most important mission on planet Earth, awakening humanity's potential. He's had 3 near-death experiences and a life-altering spiritual awakening. So he has now committed his life to helping you expand your self-awareness, trust your intuition, and unlock the power within, living life with greater freedom, joy, prosperity, and peace. And he is the co-author of the Essence Trilogy series, and he's dedicated to supporting the co-creation of a new Earth civilization. So we'll find out today all about his life purpose, inner awakening, and so much more. So, Mr. Bo Lockwood, how the heck are you?
I'm doing really well, Robert. I appreciate you having me on today.
Happy to have you. And so, what did I leave out of that introduction? What are you all about? What has you so passionate, excited these days?
Yeah, I think my true passion is really working and collaborating with other people in terms of co-creating a new Earth civilization. It's really a wonderful group of people that's gathering. So we're not recruiting, we're not promoting, we're not converting, we're simply gathering the people that are already on this path, and we're coming together as far as creating a unified community of power. Because when we come together as humans and have a common vision, there's anything we can easily create it into reality. So that's what we're doing.
Wonderful. Instead of fighting each other, work together. And so, this new Earth civilization, like, what are the goals? Are we talking about things like getting rid of poverty or world peace, or like, what does this new Earth civilization look like?
That's a great question. The New Earth civilization, it's not a separate planet. It's actually a state of consciousness. So what we're experiencing right now is basically a modern day Noah's Ark. And when Noah was building his ark, a lot of people thought he was nuts until it started to rain. So it's the same thing that's happening now. So we're not a movement. We are evolution. So that's what we're doing, is we are helping to manifest the reality of a new way of life, which is a new Earth civilization.
And how did you come across these ideas? I know you had the near-death experiences. Did that have anything to do with it, or like, how did you decide to do this?
That's a great question. I've had a life of struggle, and through struggle, you really learn a lot about yourself in terms of how much power we actually have within ourselves that lies dormant in too many people. So what has happened for me is that I've actually awakened to my true power, and with that, I've become fearless. And what's interesting about the word fearless, it has the word less in it, not the word no or none. It's not fear no or fear none. It's actually fearless, which means that we always experience fear. It's part of the human experience. And I've learned that I'm a spiritual being having a human experience. And in this human form, I experience fear. However, what has changed for me is the level of fear that I now experience. Meaning that when I first got off on this journey, I was very fearful to put my name on this and to put myself out there. But just over time, by feeling the fear and doing it anyway, that's when my life changed. Too many people play it safe, and this is not time to play it safe. This is the time to always be bold, to step into our to our true power and build the lives that we truly desire.
Very nice. That's a great message, to act despite the fear and reduce the fear and know that it has a purpose, right? It's there to keep us safe, but it maybe prevents us from taking the risks that we should. And you mentioned about some of these struggles that you've grown from. Do you feel like sharing about any of these, troubled times you've been through?
Yeah, sure. I think one thing that makes me unique is that I have a pattern of my life that every 15 years, something major happens where I almost die. So at birth, the doctors told my parents that there was a chance that I wouldn't even make it onto Earth. That I was born with a a heart condition where most people have 3 leaflets in their aorta valve, and I was born with 2.5. So because of that deficiency, blood leaked back and enlarged my heart. And bottom line, they thought I would have to have open heart surgery by the time I was 5 years old. And I actually made it till I was 30. So that was interesting because I almost died at birth. And then at age 15, I got pinned against a tree by my brother's Mustang, totally plowed into me. And I had a near-death experience where I floated out of my body and was actually like looking down on the scene. And I was watching myself covering all the holes. I had puncture wounds in my legs. And every time my heart would beat, the blood would start squirting out of literally 3 or 4 different holes. And I was trying to covering everything up to be able to slow the bleeding. Thankfully, my neighbor was an Eagle Scout. He saw what happened. He came over and treated me until the ambulance arrived, and otherwise I wouldn't be here today. So that was at age 15. Then at age 30, I passed out on a racquetball court and learned that it was time for me to get open heart surgery. I got mouth-to-mouth resuscitation to keep me alive. They got me to the hospital. I had open heart surgery at 30. Then at age 45, I went through a very dark divorce. It didn't physically almost kill me, but emotionally, it definitely killed me. And that's really when I started to wake up. It's like, unfortunately, we as humans tend to grow through struggle. It's actually like part of nature, where a dandelion is trying to like break its way through the asphalt. Then all of a sudden, once it does, then it begins to really bloom. Well, that's how we grow too. Is that we have a tendency of growing through very difficult times. So that happened at age 45. I went through a very emotional time with the splitting of my family, and then at age 60, I had it was horrible. I was in Florida and I flew up to Philadelphia for the holidays, and I got COVID on the airplane. I arrive in Philly. A couple days later, I'm sick in bed with COVID. I then got gout in my feet at the same time. I took some additional medication to take care of the gout, and that caused a brain bleed. And I had a massive brain bleed where my blood literally turned to water. And I ended up in the intensive care for 8 days. And during that time, they discovered that I have an aneurysm on my aorta heart. So I not only have a St. Jude valve, which is an artificial valve on my heart, but now I have an aneurysm right next to it, which is basically like a blister. It's like a blister on your valve. And the one positive thing is that if it bursts, I'll be dead within a matter of seconds. So there's not a lot of suffering involved. So, and kind of in a way, it's like a blessing in disguise, but it's still something that I live with. And I've also, since I've already been through one open heart surgery, I've decided not to go through another. The first time I was 30 years old, as I mentioned, I was half the age and twice as strong. And it still took me over a year to fully recover. So I know now, here I am at 60, if I get another operation, it's going to add another 10 years to my life. So I'm going to be automatically 70 by the time I get out of the hospital. And I'm not ready to be 70. I still have 10 years to get there. So I've decided not to proceed with another operation and just live my life as it is, accepting what is as it is, and really accepting life, that I can die at any time. And it's weird because for the longest time, I was taking my life for granted until I almost died. And then all of a sudden, I gained a new appreciation at life, particularly at age 30. I remember at age 30, I thought everyone should die at age 30 and have a chance to come back, because that's really when I started to gain a new appreciation for life. And then I went through the horrible divorce, and then that kind of sucked me down. And then ever since then, I've been on a spiritual path that I've really been building myself back up, because I'm just a believer that divorce changes everyone. Like when you get divorced, you change. There's no way that you stay the same. So the way that you change, you either get stronger or you get weaker. And it's a choice. And a lot of people will jump into another relationship not realizing that that's making them weaker. They're jumping into it because they don't like to be by themselves and they need the support of others. Whereas other people like myself, I actually went into a very hermit mode for many years, where I really just focused on myself. And it really opened me up in miraculous ways that I never even knew about. And see, that's the thing. Like, when people hear about other people awakening, they just think it's a bunch of hooey and it's a bunch of whatever, it's a bunch of malarkey. Well, until you experience it, you don't know. So a lot of people that are asleep, that are a sleeping soul, they don't even realize that they're asleep. They just think that their life is what it is, and that's just the way it is. And they don't realize that they actually have the power to change. And so many people are looking for that change to come from the outside world. They're looking for our government to fix our problems. It's not going to happen. It happens within ourselves. Change begins with ourselves. That's why I mentioned to you before the call, I'm not looking for followers. I don't want the responsibility of followers. I don't want people following me. I want people to follow themselves. People need to stop following other people and start following themselves. That's when they step into their power. That's when people can really start to make the changes in their life to be able to live the life that they actually want to live.
Very nice. We have me thinking a lot about those seasons of life where it can be so tempting to become complacent, rest on your laurels, have the bad attitude, and not be grateful for waking up every day. Like you say, you have this sort of ticking time bomb in your heart,
Exactly.
but you or I could step outside and get hit by a truck instantly, and so nothing is guaranteed. So we have to make the most of it.
Amen.
And from these stories that you've told, I
Exactly.
get this message that other people are important, right? Like the Eagle Scout that stopped bleeding, or the person that gave you the mouth to mouth resuscitation. But it's not like they jump started you back to life, right? They gave you that little nudge, that little push, but then it's also up to you for
Yes.
your breathing to continue, your heart to continue. And so your support system is important, but they can't be a crutch. And sometimes in our lives, our circle of friends kind of becomes too comfortable, and we need to go out and have these new adventures. And we're hoping that the attention that you're bringing to these common human problems can get people to wake up and make more of their lives in the world. And my understanding is that you have some of these excellent books where you've put these ideas down and you like revise them over many years. So can you tell us about the Essence books?
Yeah, that's great. Thank you for asking. Essence is really a divine creation. It is actually a co-creation with the divine, I should say. I worked with Essence, started writing it back in 2012 with my spiritual mom. My spiritual mom, her name is Ann Emerson. Ann Emerson is just a wonderful sage. She's 93 years old and she has more wisdom than anyone I've ever met. And she has imparted her 69 years of wisdom into me. And I've been working closely with her since 2010. So we're 16 years together. And one of the things that we did is that we co-created Essence. And Essence is an amazing book. It was a download that I received, and I just started typing. And I don't really even take credit for the content of it. But what I do take credit for is the fingers that I use to be able to type it. Once we had a draft in place, it took about 6 weeks to just maybe it wasn't six, maybe more like four. It was like 4 to 6 weeks in that period to where I was just writing. And by the time it was done, we had a really nice first draft. And then Ann and I literally went through it sentence by sentence and just cultivated it over the years. And we never really pushed it. I mean, it's on its fourth edition now, and we never promoted it. I never felt comfortable promoting it because I didn't feel it was complete. I always felt something was off, and I had a hard time really putting my heart energy into really wanting to promote it when it just didn't feel right to me. Well, as I mentioned, we're now in our fourth edition, and it's amazing. And when people take this book seriously, it will change their life. It's impossible not to, because it's just packed with timeless wisdom that people can apply to their lives now, not in the future, but now. They can get an idea out of the book and put it into action right away. So it's really a wonderful book. I'm a big fan of Stoicism and Marcus Aurelius, and he really opened me up and really encouraged me to continue on this path of living boldly. And he's all about self-awareness. His whole thing is that wisdom begins with self-awareness, to know thyself. And when we begin to know ourselves, we begin to discover a new side of life that we didn't even know existed. So
Oh,
it's kind of like people that are in the 3D world. 3D is like half the story, and it's not that it's wrong. It's not right or wrong. It's just a matter of limited versus unlimited. So with 3D, a lot of people are confined to the limitations that have been imposed upon them a lot by society and our teachers and our parents and our friends. But then there's other people like me who don't subscribe to the narrative. I live on the periphery of society. All the chaos that's going on in the world, I see it, but I'm not energetically attached to it. So I live on the periphery, so I'm aware, but I'm not attached. And that's
hmm,
really when we can step into our greatest of power, is when we don't have any attachment. Even with this whole vision of co-creation, the new Earth civilization, I don't have any attachment to it. I just know I'm here to be a voice for spirit to be able to get this message out, and wherever it goes, it goes. I'm not attached that it has to be a certain way. In fact, the more attachment that I have to it, the more resistance there is, and the more that I'm getting in my own way.
hmm.
So I'm just like letting it out there. I've been working with others, and we've created a sandbox for spiritual entrepreneurs to come in and build their own business within our business and be able to rock and roll, because collaboration is where it's at, and we're all working together. Our goal is to bring together 1,000 change makers. And when you bring together 1,000 change makers, you can do whatever you want. So we're already in the process of gathering them, and we're doing it very methodically. We are not promoting at all as far as people getting into what we call a provider of the cosmic cluster. So a product provider is someone that offers services and or products that help people grow into their greatest potential. So essentially what we are is a digital marketing agency for change makers. And we're pulling together 1,000 change makers, 100 service providers, and 900 sales affiliates selling the services of those providers. So that's what's cool about our model, is that we're not only bringing together the resources, but then we're bringing together the salespeople to actually bring those resources to the world. So what we're doing on LinkedIn, we only are promoting on LinkedIn. Now, why is that? Well, it's because on LinkedIn, it's all the business people. And we have a very strong understanding that for systemic change to actually occur in this world, chances are it's going to happen through the business world. It's going to be happen through the leaders that are running big companies that have the power to take on the type of information that we're providing and literally transform their cultures in a way that they've never even imagined. I used to be a partner at Gallup, and I worked at Gallup for nearly a decade. And I went out and sold market research, and we would go in and literally assess and dissect dysfunctional cultures and demonstrate to companies how to improve. Yet, what I've realized since that time, as much respect as I have for Gallup, they're only dealing with half the game. And what I mean by that is that they approach it very much from a mind centered standpoint, very research based, very scientific, which is wonderful. I love it. Yet there's a spiritual component that is completely not even ignored, but I think overlooked because they're not even aware that it even exists. So what we're doing is bringing forth business coaches, business advisors, business consultants that have this type of knowledge. And what we're doing is representing them to be able to get it into the business world. We're also at the same time building this affiliate sales force. So, like I said, we're only promoting this on LinkedIn. You're not going to see us anywhere else. But the affiliates are going to be the ones that take it wherever they want in the world. So, our concentration is only on LinkedIn to build the infrastructure. 2026 is our year of preparation, which is what we're doing now. We're gathering people, we're getting everyone set up on our website. both as affiliates and as providers. So this is a year where we're getting the engine started. And I know, according to a Vedic astrology reading, that as of March of 2027, which is less than a year from now, we're going to be rocking and rolling.
Very cool. And I'm looking at newearthcivilization.com right now, and you're talking about business consultants, performance coaches, health and wellness, yoga, spiritual teachers, energy advisors, authors, speakers, just all these people that you have in your army, so to speak, that you're building up this group of leaders who is set to change the world. So
Yes.
you've given us so much to think about, right, in life and about the future, and especially this idea of, from the books, awareness and being really careful with your attachments, because if you what you resist persists, and some of these things that you hang on to too much might really cause some damage as they rip away, because you will lose everything, right? At some point we'll all lose our lives, right? We're not immortal. Even you know better than most how your health comes and goes.
Exactly.
The divorce, relationships come and goes. The two daughters eventually grow up and leave the nest. Like, there's the present moment to appreciate what we have, but you can't hang on too tight, because then it'll cause some problems. So be really careful with the awareness and the attachments, but also pursue your mission and purpose and make a difference. And if someone says, man, this guy, Bo Lockwood, I love what he has to say, I'm in, I want to join, how does someone take a next step and join these meetings or figure out how to be part of your cause?
Wow, that's great. Thank you. And I just want to say that all the responses that you've given have been like, I've gotten chills in my body, because they're so dead on accurate. So I totally resonate with everything that you've said. So I just wanted to just validate that for you.
Thank you.
How do people get involved? Well, what I would suggest is go to our website and start by, well, I mean, there's different things you can do. It's all free too. So if you go to our website and look under free resources, first of all, you can read the entire Essence book cover to cover on our website in a flip book format. And if you like it, there's a button there. You can buy it on Amazon. And if you don't want to buy it, that's totally fine. Our mission is to be able to get as many people exposed to this information as possible. And that's why we don't want to have any financial barriers getting in the way of someone reading the book. So that's why you can read it for free on our website. The other thing you can do is on our website is take the Essence self-awareness assessment. And I suggest doing it first thing, because if you do it right away before you really get exposed to this new information, you get a baseline measure in terms of where you currently are before you even got involved with us. And then as you start to take on this information, as you start to integrate the information that's in Essence into your life, you're going to grow, you're going to expand. And what's really cool is you can go back and take the assessment again and have a time 1, time 2 comparison. See if you've changed. Then you can do time 3, time 4, time 5. You can do it as many times as you want. And what's cool, it's free. You don't have to give your email. You don't have to give anything. You can just you can just go on our website and take it. If you want the results emailed to you, then that's when we need your email. But up until then, you can just take it, and it shows you your results right on the screen. The other thing that you can do in that same list of free resources is to sign up for a 55-day free journey. It takes the 44 aspects of Essence, and it's a 55-day drip email campaign where you get 1 email a day for 55 days. And if you take that seriously and follow along, it's roughly 15 minutes a day. If you're willing to invest 15 minutes a day into yourself for 55 days, I guarantee by the end of 55 days, you're going to be a different person. So if that's not alluring enough, not much more I can do. So those are 3 great first ways for people to get involved. Then if they really enjoy what we're doing, then you can go jump over to our Princeton Green site. Princeton Green is actually the people that are co-creating the existence of our vision of a new earth into existence. So if you go to our Princeton Green site, you can see how to sign up as an affiliate. Like I said, we're not promoting providers. What the providers are being hand selected, and every single one is coming through referral. So our provider community It's going to be completely connected in that everything grew organically through the people that were already involved. So we're not looking for new providers. We already have them coming up. That we already have over 20 already on the site, and our goal is to bring on one new person a year. A week, and then within 2 years, we have all 100 providers completely set up, and then the affiliates. That's where people can really get involved. Is come in and become an affiliate, and with an affiliate, you have the ability to not only sell on your own, but you can build a team, and you can actually help gather team leaders. So there's actually 3 different levels, but we're not a multi-level marketing. We're a matrix organization. And if you go to our website, it explains the difference between the two. And there's a vast difference. But the bottom line is we've built a one-of-a-kind matrix model that nobody else has, and it is very powerful. And like I said, by March of 2027, we're going to be rocking and rolling. And when people feel inspired, like we want people that hear our message and just know, I've been looking for them. This is for me. If you don't know it, then this isn't for you. You got to know it. So it's something that comes from the heart and not from the head. So if you feel that you're going in the right direction in your heart, that's a good thing. The only other thing I want to point out, because it came up the other day, we've been doing a couple of LinkedIn Lives, which we're going to continue with, was the question, are we a cult? And I just want to make it very clear, we are definitely not a cult. We never will be a cult. And the reason why is because with a cult, there's a controlling leader that everyone that leader wants everyone to follow the way that they're thinking. We're just the opposite. Like I told you before, I don't want followers. I am building this sandbox so I can go hop on my motorcycle and start cruising the country again, camping, because that's what I really enjoy doing. So I'm not looking to gain fame. I'm not looking to gain followers. I'm just looking to be able to pass this message along to help wake people up. So when people wake up, they can step into their power and build a new life. And that's what my purpose is. And that's what through all my struggle, that's what I've learned about myself. That's why I'm here. I didn't know this 15 years ago. I had no idea why I was here. I didn't even know that I had a purpose. I thought my purpose was just to have fun. What's interesting though is that I'm still having fun, but I'm doing it with purpose. So it's really a cool thing, and we're at a point where it's become fun because there's enough momentum now. It's at the point where it's gone beyond myself. Like at first, I was the one like getting everything going, but at some point, when you're manifesting a vision, especially when it includes a collaborative community of people that are all working together, at some point things start to happen without anything that has to do with me, which is really nice because then it begins to take on a life of its own. If this vision was just limited to me, we probably wouldn't get too far. So again, like I said, I'm just trying to get out of my way and allow this thing to be able to blossom, so I can go and do another cross country ride on my bike. So that's where I am.
You're setting something in motion, approaching that critical mass point. And so I'm very impressed with what you built and what you're working on here. And those resources that we mentioned is newearthcivilization.com. And that's where you can do the reading, read the book, read the blog posts, and jump on that 55-day journey to unleash your power from within, a transformative journey to elevate your consciousness and embrace a life filled with love, joy, freedom, prosperity, and peace. 55 days, 10 minutes a day, and it adds up into this wealth of knowledge. And the other resource that you mentioned was PrincetonGreen.org. That is a community of education, wisdom sharing, because as artificial intelligence permeates our lives, they remain grounded through each other, connecting with authenticity, as creating authentic human connection is their greatest strength. So if you want to join up with this team, so to speak, they are all about spiritual transformation, business consulting, wellness coaching, AI solutions, green innovations. They're co-creating this new Earth civilization. Check out those websites. It's PrincetonGreen.org, newearthcivilization.com. And then the book series, the first one in the Essence trilogy, is called Essence, A Gateway to Expansive Living. And we've been speaking with Mr. Bo Lockwood, an amazing individual on a very courageous journey forward. And before I let you go, Mr. Bo, it's time for the scary part of the podcast where I try to stump you. I try to put you on the spot by asking about a fun or interesting quote or lesson that has served you. So what comes to mind as far as a fun or interesting quote or lesson?
Oh, that's easy. It's I have two life mottos. The first one is, I don't know is all I know. So that's how I get my humbleness. And then the second one is to always be bold. And what it means to be bold is to feel the fear and do it anyway. So a lot of people wait until they no longer feel the fear, because they're like, oh, it's not the right time because I'm too scared. Well, that's actually the time to do it. So it's really stepping into a new existence, stepping into a new reality requires people to change. If you think that you're going to stay the same and have your outside world change, it's not going to happen. Everything that's happening in the outside world is a reflection of what's going on inside of us. So the more we get in tune with what's going on inside of us, the better the outside world appears in our life. So that's just the way it is. Life is a mirror, and too many people are unaware of that, and they continue to go through life being victims of circumstances instead of students of life. And that's the point when I changed. I went from a victim, being the victim of a very dark divorce, to being a student of life, realizing that my former wife has been among my best teachers. And that was the point in time that I was able to not only forgive myself, but to forgive her as well. So it's really powerful to be able to bring in a new perspective into my being, because I see the world differently than what I did when I was married. And what's really interesting is that, I mean, here we are 20 years later, and people that knew me then and only knew me from then still think that I'm the same person that I was back then. And it's interesting because growth is very difficult to see as it's happening, but it's very obvious to see when you look in hindsight, when people take the time to contemplate their life, to be able to reflect. And what I realized is that the person that I was that went through that divorce, the way that I handled myself, I would handle myself much differently today. That divorce would be so much easier today than all the craziness that it turned into then. And it's only because I did the inner work and can see my growth today. So that's where my forgiveness comes from as well, knowing that if that same instance happened today, I would handle myself much differently. And that's the closing message. And in order to do that, you need to be bold. So my message is always be bold.
Very nice. Always be bold, and it's time to do it. And the first step in that bold journey is by going to newearthcivilization.com and princetongreen.org. It's time to get educated about some of this stuff. There's no more excuses. The information is there. We just have to apply it and take some action, take some chances, and accomplish a few things. So princetongreen.org and newearthcivilization.com. And thanks so much, Mr. Bo Lockwood, for stopping by and dropping some wisdom. I'm really glad that you showed up.
Thank you so much, Robert. I really appreciate your time today and for the opportunity to be here and speak with your audience. Thank you.